some secrets are buried deeper than we realize. Sometimes the quietest places hold the loudest stories. What happens when the past refuses to stay hidden? By the way, this channel posts one insight like this every day, so if this breakdown helps you, consider subscribing. Have you ever stopped to wonder why so many apps promise to be free, but somehow end up costing you more than just a little bit of time? It's a question that gets at the heart of our digital lives. We download those shiny new games, photo editors, or fitness trackers, thinking we've snagged a free deal. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, these apps start asking for more. Your location, your contacts, your browsing habits. Sometimes it's just annoying ads. Other times it's a subtle nudge toward in-app purchases, subscriptions, or premium features that suddenly feel essential. Take, for example, the world of mobile games. Titles like Candy Crush or Clash of Clans lure millions with simple gameplay and colorful graphics. Yet behind the scenes, many players find themselves spending real money on virtual coins or power-ups to keep up with the competition. What seemed like a harmless way to pass the time can quickly become a pricey habit. But it's not just games. Social media apps, photo editors, and even weather apps can collect vast amounts of personal data, sometimes selling it to advertisers or using it to tailor the ads you see. Ads designed specifically to make you click, buy, or share more. This trade-off between free access and personal privacy has become the invisible currency of the digital age. And it doesn't stop there. Some so-called free apps have been caught sneaking spyware onto devices or using aggressive tactics to get users to unwittingly share more than they intended. The line between convenience and intrusion is often razor thin. So what does this mean for us? Are we willingly giving up pieces of our privacy and hard-earned dollars in exchange for the convenience of free apps? Or is there a way to navigate this landscape more wisely, keeping the benefits of technology without getting caught in the hidden costs? We'll explore the psychology behind why free feels so irresistible, and how tech companies design their products to keep us coming back, sometimes longer and deeper than we ever planned. Stay with me. To understand why free feels so magnetic, we need to step into the shoes of both the user and the creator. For us, the idea of zero cost triggers something deeply rooted in human nature, our desire for gain without immediate sacrifice. It's a simple lure, but one with complex consequences. On the other side, developers face an intense pressure to capture attention, to engage users, to monetize their creations without alienating their audience. So they weave tactics into the very fabric of their apps, rewards that tap into our brain's pleasure centers, social comparisons that make us want to play just one more level, notifications that gently, persistently pull us back in. This is where the design becomes more than just functional. It's psychological architecture. Each button, each pop-up, each delay is calculated to keep us hooked. It's not malicious in every case, but it's undeniably intentional. And therein lies the paradox. As users, we crave control and choice, yet we're often nudged toward decisions that aren't entirely our own. The invisible hand guiding us might not be a person, but a complex algorithm fine-tuned to predict our behavior better than we predict ourselves. Reflecting on this, it's worth asking, how do we reclaim some of that agency? It might start with awareness, recognizing the subtle pulls before they take hold. It might mean setting boundaries, like turning off notifications or questioning every free download. It might mean supporting apps and services that are transparent about their intentions and respectful of privacy. Technology isn't inherently good or bad. It holds incredible potential to connect, educate, and inspire. But as with all powerful tools, it demands a mindful approach. In the quiet moments, when the phone is off and the screen is dark, we can remind ourselves that not every convenience is free, and that the true cost sometimes lives in those shadows we seldom see. And perhaps that's where the real story begins. In those shadows, we find the whispers of choices made without full knowledge, the trade-offs we didn't fully anticipate. It's easy to forget that behind every tap and swipe, there are layers of intention by developers seeking sustainability, advertisers chasing influence, and ourselves trying to navigate a world that feels more connected, yet more complicated than ever before. Maybe the way forward isn't to retreat from technology, but to approach it with a gentler curiosity, to ask not just what an app promises, but what it asks in return, to remember that our attention is precious, our data a part of ourselves, and in honoring that, we begin to weave a digital life that serves us, not the other way around. So next time you reach for a new app, take a moment, breathe, Listen for those quiet questions beneath the surface. How much am I really paying? And is it worth it? Because in the end, the stories worth telling are those where we choose not to be mere players, but thoughtful participants in our own lives. And with that gentle reflection, we leave this space for now, carrying a little more awareness into the screens that so often shape our worlds. We live in an era where convenience is king and immediacy the rule. Yet, amidst the relentless pace, there's a profound value in pause, pausing to consider, to question, to reclaim pieces of ourselves often surrendered too easily. Technology, after all, is a reflection of humanity, with all its brilliance and its blind spots. Perhaps the most empowering step isn't to reject what's new or unfamiliar, but to engage with it thoughtfully, to recognize that behind every free offer lies an invitation, not always sinister, but always deserving of our attention. It's an invitation to examine our habits, our desires, and the subtle currents that influence them. In this space of awareness, we find resilience. The resilience to shape our digital lives with intention, to protect what's most personal, and to nurture connections that enrich rather than deplete. It's a quiet revolution, one that begins not with grand gestures, but with small, mindful choices. So maybe the story isn't about the apps themselves, but about us, the consumers, the creators, the custodians of our own attention. Holding that responsibility gently, thoughtfully, we can forge a path forward that honors both innovation and individuality. And in that delicate balance, there's hope. A hope that the next time we tap download, it will be with eyes wide open, heart steady, and a deeper understanding of what it truly means to be free. With each choice, we write a new chapter, one less defined by hidden costs and more by conscious presence. And as we close this reflection, may that thought linger softly, like a quiet echo, inviting us all to listen a little more closely. Because in the stillness that follows, there's space to imagine a different relationship with technology, one where curiosity is matched by caution, where convenience doesn't eclipse conscience. In a world moving ever faster, these moments of quiet are not mere pauses. They are acts of care. Care for ourselves, for our communities, and for the digital landscapes we inhabit daily. They remind us that behind every screen lies a human story, our story, and that the power to shape how it unfolds remains, always, in our hands. It becomes clear that the narrative isn't just about algorithms or data. It's deeply personal. It's about how we choose to engage, how we protect our boundaries, and how we remind ourselves that behind every pixel and notification, there's a human heartbeat seeking connection, meaning, and balance. In embracing this awareness, we reclaim a subtle kind of freedom, not freedom from technology, but freedom within it. The freedom to pause before we click, to step back when the noise grows too loud, and to honor the parts of ourselves that crave more than just instant gratification. Because ultimately, technology is a mirror reflecting who we are and who we want to become. So, as the screens dim and the world quiets down, let's carry with us this gentle reminder that our lives, our attention, and our stories are precious. They deserve not to be mined or manipulated, but to be held with care and intention. And perhaps, in that mindful space between the light of the screen and the dark of the night, we find not just answers, but new questions. Questions that lead us toward a digital future shaped by wisdom, compassion, and choice. It's there, in that quiet place, that the real story unfolds, softly, steadily, and with the profound grace of being fully present. And as we step back from the glow of our devices, there's a certain kind of stillness that begins to settle, a space where the noise of alerts and the urgency of updates fade into the background. It's in these moments, away from the constant hum of connectivity, that we can reconnect with ourselves and the world beyond the screen. This delicate balance between engagement and detachment is not always easy to find. It calls for patience and a gentle discipline, a willingness to be present without distraction. But it is within this balance that we discover the true power of our attention, not as a commodity to be bought or sold, but as a gift we give ourselves. In the end, the choices we make today ripple outward, shaping how technology evolves and how it shapes us in return. They remind us that, despite the complexity of modern life, the most profound agency lies in simple acts, choosing when to look up, deciding when to unplug, and honoring our own rhythms amid the digital tide. So perhaps the secret isn't in resisting the digital world, but in learning to dance with it, mindfully, thoughtfully, and with a heart that knows its own worth. Because every interaction is an opportunity to connect deeply, to learn something new, or simply to be still. And whether the screen is bright or dark, the story continues, quiet, unfolding, and always inviting us to listen a little closer, breathe a little deeper, and approach each moment with care.